Those in power only see me as a brute, unfit for higher office, but I follow in the footsteps of Alexander the Great and Caesar.
Ridley Scott's Napoleon is a good-looking biography about the French conqueror and his lady love Josephine. The movie features some spectacular battle sequences, but if you want to really dig into what made Napoleon tick, this film falls a little short.
Last night, I made a wish on a star. And the star answered.
Disney's Wish is set in a magical world where you can actually give your heart's deepest wish to the king for safekeeping. Ariana DeBose plays the young woman determined to return the wishes to their rightful owners. In this movie that has some funny elements, but the music and the story are only mildly charming.
My parents, they've got problems.
What do you mean problems?
I don't think I'll ever go home again.
Well, why don't you come home with me? Come to Saltburn.
Saltburn is the latest from writer-director Emerald Fennell, the story of an Oxford student invited to spend the summer with his rich peers. Things do not go as planned in this wicked tale of class and privilege.
You're not gonna believe this.
Santa stitched you.
Wait, you too?
The naughty list.
Lots of movies aimed at the family on home streaming this week, from Disney's The Naughty Nine, where some kids on the naughty list try to get revenge on Santa,
The New Adventures of Ed and Dex starts now!
to yet another crazy, silly adventure from Keenan and Kel in Good Burger 2 over on Paramount+.
I am a genie.
Yeah.
Your wish is my command.
Peacock has Melissa McCarthy playing a genie who's helping a man get his life back in order in time for Christmas in Genie.
Do I look old? Thank you.
And Netflix has Leo, the best of the bunch, where Adam Sandler plays a talking classroom pet who helps the students work through the struggles of being in elementary school. Leo has a nice mix of silly comedy and heart-filled moments.
This is a tough time, but these are the best years, believe me.
And that's what's new this weekend at the movies. I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy.
Sean McBride, the movie guy, is with us now. Talk about what's happening. And again, to me, Sean, this officially marks the beginning of the holiday movie season, because Thanksgiving is kind of one of those days that I know a lot of families traditionally, a little bit of turkey, and then they head off to the movie theater and enjoy a movie
I used to manage a movie theater, an 18-plex, and that was one of our biggest days every year because so many films came out, and you extend your hours, and you have whole families. So it's a great day for buying popcorn too, which is great.
Well, so that being said, I mean, when we look back on the past, I can think of something like Gladiator. I think was one of those Thanksgiving movies, you know, way back in the day that people had their turkey and then went to see the big spectacle on the screen.
Right.
You know, people may not know this, but there is a big spectacle on the screen that you can go see this week from maybe one of the best directors of our generation.
Absolutely. And we're talking about Napoleon here. I was going to say, we're talking about Disney's Wish? No, we're talking about Napoleon. This is from Sir Ridley Scott. This is an interesting movie because you are correct. Visually, this is quite stunning. The battle sequences in particular are what I'm talking about there, but also just the standard production design there. You know, it's set in France in, you know, the 1810s basically, and so you get all that lavish architecture and the people in their uniforms, and that's all wonderful here. It is interesting. He put a blue pallor over everything, and that did kind of get in the way of some of the nighttime battle sequences. You know, I understand you do that because it's night, but you know, it makes it hard to see some of this stuff here. But visually, I do think this is the reason to see this movie, and also because of the battle sequences, which were quite tense. That being said, I am still mixed on this movie because I want to know, why are we making this movie about Napoleon? Does Ridley Scott have anything he wants to say about Napoleon? And he doesn't. He just kind of says, here's the facts. And
it's just the spectacle then.
Yeah, exactly. So I wish there was something more interesting about, you know, what was driving the man. I wanted to get under his skin. It turns into the, you know, his love life story at times there, which is quite interesting. But maybe we could have focused on that, made that the point. But no, you know, every once in a while you get to the point where it's like, oh, he and Josephine are really trying to do something special here. We have to go back for another battle, and it's kind of disjointed.
So let me ask you this, though. Do you not think that a lot of people will walk away from this, and I don't know how factual it is, but they will have a better understanding of who this person they only see now is, oh, yeah, the guy with the hand in the jacket, or, you know, the shortest guy, the shortest general, whatever you want to call him?
Yeah, it's interesting because there are moments in there where it's like, I don't think Napoleon was actually that short, you know, stuff. But then they they set him next to his wife, and his wife is towering over him.
Right.
So the filmmakers certainly believe it. Yeah, I do think that is correct, because what do we know about Napoleon? I mean, we may know Waterloo. We may not know Waterloo, but we don't know, all of his various campaigns, how many people died under his command. Those are interesting things that, we're not French, so we didn't learn this in our history books. So.
Right. So anyway, to me, and again, I'm sorry, but anytime you attach the name Ridley Scott, it has my attention, just because I feel like it's something that, and it also has my interest to see it at the theater, because, I know, it says a lot, but a Ridley Scott movie is one of the few things.
Has the spectacle that it's certainly worth seeing.
That will bring me to the movie theater these days to see something. Would you go again? Okay,
maybe
on
later
the fence. I got you.
There's so many movies. I actually watched 6 movies yesterday.
Wow.
And at a certain point, that's what my Thanksgiving weekend is, always just one movie after another.
Okay,
after another.
so and we don't need to dally here, but again, if you're one of those people who likes spectacle, and this might be it. Moving on.
Well, it looks like we're going to talk about Wish next, and Wish is the Walt Disney movie. This is a basic look. It's from the producers of Frozen. It stars Ariana DeBose as the main character, and it's a musical, so you need someone who can sing, and boy, can she sing. It's Chris Pine as the king, and it's Alan Tudyk. It's a nice cast, is what I'm saying here. And it's got all the elements checked off the list, and I think it just doesn't quite gel into something magical. It's an interesting story. It's a weird story. Basically, in this magical kingdom, when you turn 18, you can give the king your wishes to hold for safekeeping. Why he wants the wishes, it's not quite explained. And then Ariana DeBose's character, Asha, she goes to the king's palace. She sees all these wishes in the forms of glowing blue orbs. And she says, that's not right. We should give those back to the people. So now she's against the king, trying to put the wishes back. And then this little yellow star pops down from the outer space and helps her, and the king now wants the power of the star. Okay, whatever. Look, it's got cute sidekick characters. That's Alan Tudyk as the goat, and then the star is kind of a manga character. So not one, but 2 cute sidekick characters. But I don't think the music is ever really great, and you need to have that for these things to work. I don't think the story is, it's a complicated story, made more so by the first quarter of this film. We're going, oh, the king is the best. We love living here. Everything's perfect in this fictional kingdom of Rosas. And then we find out, oh no, the king's actually evil and he's going to turn into a bad guy. And it's like, I don't get the motivations. It just happens because the screenwriter said it should happen. That being said, I do know a lot of my family went to see it, the kids.
I was just about to say, all that said, though, it doesn't matter, because people are going to go because, A, it's animated, and
Disney.
You mentioned the word Frozen. So,
exactly.
I mean, they're there. No
I just
what.
don't think it's quite as good.
Okay.
Although, yeah.
All right. So that's number 2.
Third one also in theaters, last one in theaters, is one from Emerald Fennell. You talked about a director in Ridley Scott. This is another director that people are very interested in. This is called Saltburn, and it is a story about a kid. He's at Oxford, and he meets this rich family, and he's a poor kid, and the rich family invites him to come spend the summer at my mansion called Saltburn, and my dad's the lord, and whatever. And so it's poor kid in among all the rich folks here, except that he's not quite as poor and helpless as it would appear. And I don't want to spoil anything, because it does kind of come out of nowhere.
Somebody told me this was a really good film.
I would say this is probably the best film of the week this way.
Okay.
But very much, it's into the hedonism of the wealthy elites and whatnot. Not going to be for everyone. A lot of sex and nudity and all that. So, but I kind of like the slow burn mystery of this thing. What's happening? Who's really behind what's going on here? That last 20 minutes is just like, wow, how did that happen?
Well, that's what I think the person I was talking to said. It wasn't what I expected. It turned into a murder mystery.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wasn't going to spoil that, Dan.
Well,
but
I mean,
multiple murders are going to happen here at the end.
So there you go.
So look, I think this is the best film. Emerald Fennell is a very controversial but fascinating writer. So, okay, we moved on to the Naughty Nine. Now we're on to home streaming. There are 4 films on home streaming, all of them aimed at the families. This is over on Disney, the Naughty Nine. A bunch of kids, they get stiffed by Santa Claus because they're on the naughty list. And so they decide they're going to do something about it, and they're going to take Christmas back. This is a heist movie. I mean, this is a straightforward George Clooney
This
Jr.
might be the most clever movie of the entire week. I mean, original idea.
Interesting idea, that is true. And the kids, now it's interesting because they are doing things that will put them back on the naughty list here because they're going to break into the North Pole. They got to get by security from the elves and whatnot.
Come on, at least original thought.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, look, and don't worry, there will be a
redeeming
moral
value.
at the end.
There's got to be.
We will learn some things to get them back on the nice list. But I liked it. These people, that got the one kid who's the getaway driver because she can tricycle well, and just all these different characters.
Like I say, I applaud their creativity. At least they didn't do Santa Claus 15 or something.
Okay, Good Burger 2. I don't think we really need to say that much about it.
No, it is what it is.
Keenan and Kel, they're back, and they are having more adventures here, so I'm not sure there's a whole lot to say about this one. This is probably the least of them here. Genie, interesting movie. It's a Christmas movie, kind of. It happens at Christmas, but there's not much Christmas in it. But it's a guy, his family's falling apart, and he's all trying to get his wife back and get his job. He's just about fired. Finds a box. It turns out to be Melissa McCarthy. I think she's quite funny. It's a sweet movie. This one's over on Peacock. And then finally, the best of the bunch is over on Netflix. This is Leo. It's an Adam Sandler movie. He plays a classroom pet, a lizard, and basically he can talk. And so these kids, when they take the pet home for the weekend, he ends up talking to the kids, or more importantly, he ends up listening to them. And so he helps them solve their middle school problems. I thought this was sweet. The right amount of silly humor and heart-filled message. Easily, this one and Saltburn are the two best films of the year.
All right, sounds good. So you got plenty to choose from. There's no shortage, whether you choose to do it at home or go to the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean, as always, thank you, sir. Sean McBride, the movie guy, joins us every Friday to talk about what's new and entertaining.